Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Gallowgateshots FPL show. I'm Matt.
And I'm Daniel.
So, Dan, we are back again. The Christmas decorations are away. The Christmas period has completely gone. It's done and dusted. How are you feeling? Do you feel like you're hitting the new year hard?
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. No New Year's blues at all for me. You say your Christmas decorations are away. Is that wreath behind you like a permanent fixture throughout the year, is it?
So this is like a decoration from my like wedding a year
Oh,
ago.
okay.
So it's like the table plan. So from where like everyone was sitting,
Oh, that's
it's like
nice.
fit. It's like a golden wheel which is fitted on like a wooden, like a proper like wooden log stand that was like made by my wife's dad. So we've just kept it in like as a nice floral arrangement in the house.
It was a winter wedding,
Um,
wasn't it? Is that
it
right?
was, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, winter wedding.
because we nearly made plans on your anniversary. I've just remembered. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We nearly agreed to watch Die Hard on my anniversary, but yeah, we'll not
You
go
know,
into that.
your anniversary, to be fair.
Honestly, nearly ballsed right up. I was like about to ask, and I was like, "Whoa, hang on, wait!" Alarm bells going off in my head. Maybe not do that. Maybe not do that. So yeah, all the decorations are away in the attic now. Sorry, so January fixtures, right? They're all up and running. I'm gonna totally put you on the spot. Who do you think is going to be the highest point scorer in Fantasy Premier League in January? Go,
In Oh my
go.
God.
Anybody, just say it. Quick.
Still Haaland. Yeah, Haaland.
Haaland. All right, okay, fair enough, fair enough. City aren't doing well, like, but is
Yeah,
he
but
going to
they've
play?
got they've got that dodgy Spurs team twice, and I think twice, at least once, and Wolves.
Yeah,
Why not? Why not?
why not? Well, I mean, you've not really pushed the boat out there, but
No, I mean, also you did put us on the spot, and we're usually short for time on these, so I didn't want to spend 3 or 4 minutes thinking too far out of the box. Sod it, fine. I'll go someone different.
oh,
Ivan Toney.
even though, oh, okay, it's just, you don't think he's going to be banned then?
He's not been banned yet, has he? So
That's true. It's true. Well, yeah, fair enough. I mean, yeah, we talked before this about how we don't want this to go on too long, and I've just asked you a random question. Why
yep.
not, eh? Why not? So, we'll start off then. Before we start, sorry, we'll just make sure that you've pressed that little like button on the screen, and you've subscribed to the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel where we have match reactions. Obviously, we're a Newcastle United-based podcast. So make sure that you are following us so you get all of the fantastic Newcastle United content, match previews, match reactions, Always Smiling Faces podcast, and much, much more. Drop some comments in the comment section as well. We like to just chat with you all, and yeah, just click the little bell as well that makes you aware as soon as new videos come out. So yeah, that's all the housekeeping done. Let's talk about Harry Kane. Do you know, right? He scores all the time. He's been scoring almost every game, and I still don't own the guy. He's about 30% owned. He's got a double game week this week, right?
Yes.
We're recording this on a Sunday night, so
Yes.
we're a little bit before the deadline's the Friday at 6:30. So there's a little time to go. He's already got 220,000 transfers in. He's second behind Rashford, who has 240,000. Is he worth bringing in if you don't own him, even if it means that you're taking like a -4 or a -8?
I don't know. There's the answer to that question. We've no idea. Wouldn't follow me on any of my advice on how this week's gone for me. I'm sure you've got some stats about how he'll do against Arsenal. I think he's got the two best teams in the league coming up next, and Spurs haven't been playing well. I think they've been getting lucky. I think of all the teams in the top half of the table, they've been the luckiest to be where they are, and he's been their saving grace. I just personally can't see him doing anything against these two teams. I think Arsenal and Man City are miles ahead of Spurs. So it's not really for me personally. Not for his price, when I probably wouldn't captain him. Then he's got Fulham away in 21, which you'd expect him to score a hatful. And then he's got Man City again. So out of those four fixtures, not great. But maybe if in like game week 21, if you count it as a 4 week of Fulham, then Man City, but then Leicester, who have been leaking goals, in West Ham, totally different. I think you need to have a plan to get them in at some point because you're right, you just score goals. And I think it's a terrible double for Tottenham.
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
my personal opinion. It's just so much money.
he is, yeah. And I think if you were wanting to dream up a double game week scenario for any team in the league, this is probably the worst one. Like if you could make it up. With Harry Kane, like I know you've just kind of commented on the fixtures there. Against Arsenal, it's his third favourite team to play against. So he's got the third highest amount of his goals against Arsenal. So he's got 14 goals in 18 games against them. He loves the derby.
Very different Arsenal teams, though. That's the thing. The Arsenal team he's used to playing against aren't top of the league and have the second best defence in the league, have the second most amount of clean sheets in the league. And in my opinion, have been by far and away the best team in the league this season. And I think legitimately they're the only team Newcastle have really, really struggled against. Sort of against Man City at home, I'd say we struggled for about 20 minutes in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Other periods in that game, they struggled against us. And other times it was very even. Against Man United, we struggled at times during the game. But I think Arsenal's the only one that I think, oh, wow, we've set up to just disrupt them. And I know that we've had a couple of big chances, but they've been the best team that we played this season by a mile, I think. And the fact that we're the only team that haven't scored against this season and we're one of the few teams that have got anything off them this season just says everything about how good they are. So I think it's easy to say, certain players have favourite teams. Like I remember Aguero and Rooney always used to score against us, but it's because for a period of time we weren't consistently great defensively, and Arsenal have been over a good degree of time very defensively weak, particularly in the middle. Easy to batter through them, and then even defensively, they've always had one of the two centre backs being really not up to par. Whereas that all seems to have gone, even shoring things up by having a centre back play at right back, and Zinchenko plays as an underlapping fullback when he's playing. I think there's going to be a lot less room. Thomas Partey is better than any midfielder that Tottenham have fit. I think the only player that's going to come close in their midfield is Bentancur. He's still out, I think. Yeah. And then with the rest of them knocking around, for me, it's a very different Arsenal team, and I don't want to take past results into account because I've not seen an Arsenal team this good since, like your Vieiras and stuff. Obviously, that team was better than this team, but it's been that long.
I absolutely agree. I think it would be interesting to see how many of those 14 goals are penalties, because I know for a fact from like thinking back, the amount of times Harry Kane has took a penalty against Arsenal, I feel like it's a lot. Obviously, don't have those numbers, but you think back, I'm pretty sure he's good for a pen against Arsenal. And obviously, Man City. Like he's only got 4 goals in 14 against Man City.
Yeah,
it's his 22nd favorite opponent. So there's quite a lot of teams ahead of him. So yeah, I think it depends on where you are and how scared you are of effective ownership. Because if he's already at 30% ownership, he's already got 220,000 transfers in on Sunday night. I think if you're sitting in the top 100,000, you probably want to be getting him in just for a little bit of security. Like you wouldn't have to captain him, but having him in the team is probably going to do your heart rate a bit of good.
Maybe.
But for me, sitting 3 millionth, I don't think I need to worry too much about it.
Yeah.
So yeah. And one last thing. So you mentioned these fixtures. You've got Fulham in 21, Man City in 22. Against Leicester, we're talking about historically who he enjoys playing against.
Love Leicester.
Yeah, Leicester is his favourite team by a country mile. 20 goals in 19 games against Leicester. So if you don't have him now, I don't think you need him now. But for the likes of once that Man City game's over, that in game week 23, if you've already got enough double game week players, I think you target bringing him in there and potentially captain him. But obviously there'll be other double game week players when Kane has a single game week fixture, so you might not want to do that. So yeah, Harry Kane's talked about. Take that one off. Bosh. So, Man City, we're going to talk about them. We've already mentioned them a little bit there when talking about Kane. Man City are, like, you go back last year, Pep had his team and he kind of stuck with it. Like, Pep Roulette was kind of dead, I think. Like, if he went with Cancelo, De Bruyne, and, like, say, Foden, who was playing, like, as a shadow striker, you kind of, or false nine, should I say, you could kind of predict a little bit of what Pep was going to do. Whereas this year, he's gone back to type. Pep Roulette is back with a vengeance. I feel like we're at the stage of Pep Roulette where a little like doll riding a bicycle's going to come out and ask us if we want to play a game. It's like that level of torture now. So just to kind of cap it, like put it into perspective, last game, he decided to play Cancelo right wing, which looked amazing. I was terrified as a non-owner, but it's like, all right, Cancelo's back as an option if he's going to be that high up the pitch. Hooked at half time. Played Foden after I benched him for 2 games. So he's benched Foden for 2 games. Now is he back because he's played 1 game?
And then
he was hooked at half time.
9 minutes and subbed him off to miss out an extra 2 points. So it would have had 3 and said all us Foden owners have 1.
Yep. And then while we're on the subject of Foden, he's played him today in the cup and he's got a goal and an assist. Like played out of his skin. Does that mean he's back in contention? Mahrez was benched against Chelsea after starting the last 2, but then came on and scored, and he's played in the cup today.
Yeah.
Alvarez is back. So that now diminishes Haaland's minutes somewhat if they've got a congested fixture schedule. It's honestly an absolute minefield. I feel like we cannot triple up on Man City players anymore. Like we just can't do it. What's your thoughts? Have I said anything that you want to add to there?
Man City are close to giving me a full mental breakdown. I got a triple up ready for the doubles. I had Kyle Walker thinking, that's Kyle Walker. You play 3 out of every 4. I can handle a benching. It's fine. I've got a good bench. It doesn't turn up. Plays 45 minutes. And the thing is, the Kyle Walker and Phil Foden thing have blocked my third sub White getting off the bench for 7 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just a total nightmare. Grealish looks like he could be playing most games because he seems to be their most informed winger in terms of getting assists and stuff.
We'll come on to Grealish in a minute.
But I don't see him as much of an option because I can't see him ever scoring a goal. And that's where midfielders are going to get he's not getting 2 assists a game. He might get 1. And I'm not paying all that money for 5 points max a game, really. I think he recently got a couple of assists in the game or whatever, but that's still not very much like Jack Grealish. So I won't be falling into that trap regardless. Obviously, Haaland is the main one that you just can't afford to get rid of. He will play. Just don't care. He will play. Even if he plays 70-odd minutes, he can get a hat-trick against anyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks a bit rusty at the minute, but he didn't play throughout the World Cup. I think that's to be expected. And he played against a very deep team in Chelsea, who do have really good defenders. I know that they're not playing particularly great at the minute, but they are capable of just setting up to sit back. So I'm not too concerned that he didn't return then. Obviously, he got a brace in the first game, I think, back. Is that what he got?
Yeah.
He got a brace? So
I think so.
He's capable. I'm happy to have him. The rest, I'm petrified. Kevin De Bruyne has too much money. Otherwise, you'd probably go for him. But again, the fixtures, Tottenham, I think, is a good fixture. I think Tottenham are not very good. I know that they keep on winning, but it reminds us of that time when we had Alan Pardew as manager. I can remember when like 8 games unbeaten at the start of the season. And we ended up getting beat 3-1 off Man City. Dan Gosling scored for us.
That was the year we finished 5th, wasn't it?
Yeah. But in all of those 8 games, we were like absolutely terrible. But we won 8. It was just like, what has happened? Yeah, and then even after that was the season in January we bought Papi Cisse, and like we'd get battered, like 70% possession to Swansea away from home and win 2-0 because he chipped the keeper twice. Like
those were the days.
Tottenham are kind of playing like that, but against the big, like good teams, I think they're going to struggle. But Man United's now a tough fixture. Man United, I think, are odds on to finish 3rd in the league. They're playing really well. Ten Hag's got them playing more to their potential. So again, it's not the best double for them anyway. It's not the same team that got beat 6-1 earlier this season. Did Ford and Haaland both get a hat-trick?
Oh, yes.
So
maybe.
It was 6-1 or 6-2, I think. Yeah, I don't think that's not the same Man United team. Obviously, Ronaldo's gone now, and they've shared up a bit. Luke Shaw's playing it out of his skin, looking like one of the best left-backs in the league again. It's weird how up and down he is. So I just don't think Man City players are worth it, to be honest. You can't predict who's going to play. Even the Man City fans on Twitter always say just go for Laporte because he's nailed and then he hasn't played. I'd say if you want to go for a Man City triple and you want to go for a defensive position, I said it, I think, during, like the Boxing Day chat of who should go for your wild card. I said go for Ederson. Go for Ederson. You know he's going to play. He's the only one that you know is going to play every game. So
coming on to that, I had a little look at like minutes played this year. So the maximum amount of minutes anyone could have played is 1,620. So that's the likes of James Ward-Prowse and people like that who just don't miss games.
Yeah, you win.
You win bridge types. Interestingly, you have to scroll down past 54 players before you reach a Man City player. When you're looking at like the total of minutes. Kevin De Bruyne is there top with 1,400. This is all outfield players, by the way, so Edison's not in there.
Yeah.
Then you have Rodri on 1,383, which you don't want to own, like, obviously. Then Haaland on 1,306. Then Bernardo Silva at 1,203. Bernardo Silva is an interesting one, and I considered him when we had unlimited transfers. But you don't know whether he's going to be playing on the wing or whether he's going to be playing deep, like in that number 6 role almost.
It's number 8.
Or number 8, number 8 role. And it's like, it's one of those where do you risk having that third City place as somebody who, like you say with Grealish, it could just be that like 5 points and that's it. And I don't think they come around that often for Bernardo, to be honest. He's a fantastic player, but I don't think he's like an FPL asset. Then Cancelo on 1,181. Then Gundogan on 1,090. Foden just breaks through the 1,000 barrier. Right, 1,011 minutes.
Other than Cancelo are even there?
Yeah, none. Then you've got Stones on 1,000 and then Akanji on 926. Like Nathan Ake is not even there. It's Diaz isn't there, Laporte isn't there. Now, obviously, that's probably because of like some injuries and stuff. But it's just unbelievable that you can't, like, the minutes for these players are that low. Grealish hasn't even played over 1,000 minutes this year. It's balmy. You can't risk it. You just can't.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So we obviously rotation's really bad already. The fixture schedule for Man City is going to get absolutely horrendous. Like once the Champions League's back, and they're obviously firing on all cylinders in all cup competitions. I think, yes, yeah, they are because they're in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup still. Do we try and take advantage of Erling Haaland having a double game week, while Alvarez is still coming back into the team, while that fixture schedule isn't as congested, because the likelihood is Haaland's going to get his most minutes he's ever going to get in a double game week. The fixtures aren't great, but we know with Haaland it doesn't take much for him to be able to get at least 1 or 2 goals. Do we kind of just cash in now? I'd
rather risk it personally and wait. That's just my opinion. I think I'll wait because even if, like I said earlier, even if he plays 70 minutes twice in another double game week, so they will have another double game week.
Yeah, they've got one in 23, haven't they?
If he plays twice, then even then, that's Arsenal and Villa. Villa be a canny fixture for him. But are they not even meant to have another double game week after that at some point?
So, so there's the 3 possibilities. If you don't follow Ben Crellin on Twitter, Someone's plugged him into the wall today. He's now like up and running. He loves double game weeks. He's brilliant with fixtures and spreadsheets. He knows all the different possibilities of what can happen. He's tweeted today saying that there's 3 possibilities for Man City's 3rd double game week, which is game week 29, which would be Liverpool and Bournemouth or West Ham. Game week 34, which is Fulham and Bournemouth or West Ham or Brighton. So you potentially got in game week 34 Erling Haaland playing Fulham and Bournemouth. Like, that's the triple captain. If it falls that way, that's it. That's
even
the
against
gem.
Liverpool, even against Liverpool.
And then game week 37 is the final one, which is Chelsea and Bournemouth, West Ham or Brighton. And this is all based on how far those teams get in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, because that affects where those fixtures can possibly fall. I'm not clever enough.
Brighton, isn't it? That's the fixture you probably don't want.
Yeah. I'm not clever enough or interested enough to like actually look into what actually needs to happen for this.
Yeah.
But if you do want to and you're interested, go and have a look at that Twitter account. But yeah, I think I'm on your side with waiting and saving that triple captaincy chip for if, because you're going to be looking dead sick if in game week 34 it's announced you're going to have Fulham and Bournemouth and Haaland plays all of them. And that's like, 6 goals territory.
Yeah.
You just don't know. The ceiling's like up here.
The thing is, by that point, Man City might be knocked out of the Champions League.
Yes, it could be, but then that ultimately affects where that double game week comes in, obviously, doesn't it? And I don't know whether if they got knocked out of the Champions League early, that would tell me that the likelihood is that it would be the earlier opportunity, the game week 29 opportunity. But yeah, who knows?
Like round of 16, but if they obviously for the Champions League, the path to the final gets drawn by the quarterfinals. You never know what you can get.
Absolutely.
You get a Real Madrid or someone like that.
Bottom line is, mate, you can't trust Man City. You can't trust Pep. I think just I kind of feel bad having Kevin De Bruyne out at the minute as well. But nah, it is what it is. So we'll move on. We've talked about City loads there. If you own them, great. But if you don't, I wouldn't be buying them. They're really not worth it. So this is a bit of a selfish one, to be honest, this point. Because I've got Mason Mount and Raheem Sterling. Now, Mount played today, so it's highly unlikely that he's going to be injured long term. So I don't need to transfer him out, even though I kind of want to because he's been shocking. But I do own Raheem Sterling, so I've got like a 9 million player who's possibly done his hammy and didn't play in the cup today. So this is a bit of a selfish point about which midfielders we could bring in. There could be people watching as well who want to drop down a midfielder to a cheaper midfielder and to facilitate a -4 for Harry Kane. So I do think talking about midfielders is possibly a good idea, and slightly cheaper ones at that. So, Dan, do you want to go first? Is there anybody you've got in mind, like any sort of below 6.5 mil midfielders?
Yeah, so there's a couple. Obviously, we did sort of briefly talk about it each beforehand. I think there's one outstanding option that you have written down as well. But I'll go for so I think it's Rodrigo.
Yeah.
I think he is the outstanding choice. Which is 6.4 million.
Has he gone up? Has he? Has he gone up?
Is that what he?
I think I had him as 6.3, but I didn't actually look, so he might have gone up.
Little look, he's going to be the top 6.3. Sorry, you're right. Even better.
Cool.
Even better.
Even better.
They've got Aston Villa, Brentford, Nottingham Forest, Man United, Everton, and Southampton in the next 6. He's playing up front. He's a midfielder. He's even regardless of how they play, he scores. He played on the right wing against us, but I think that was very much a job on Almiron.
Yeah. Damn it.
Sorry, not on Almiron. He's played on the right, so it was Dan Burn, and who was on our left? It was Joe Linton, wasn't it? I think it was to track back. That's what he was doing basically. They didn't want him just playing up front because he's an absolute grafter. So it was to drop him back, and then they could overload in there. that just doesn't normally happen for Leeds. He plays up front for them. So I think he's a great shout for that amount of money. And if you look at the amount of points that he's got, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's the 8th top scoring midfielder on FPL this season. He's 1 point behind Rashford. He's only 6 points behind Saka. He's only 8 points behind De Bruyne. He's only 10 points behind Salah and Martinelli.
Yeah, he's a great asset to own, and like you've obviously had some points there. I've made some notes as well. So Leeds aren't very free scoring. They've only scored 25 goals this season. However, he's got 10 goals and 1 assist this season. So 11 goal involvements. That's 44% of Leeds' total attacking output. He's got 44% of it.
10
or being involved.
For a midfielder I know he's a forward, but 10 goals for a midfielder in the game is absolutely brilliant.
At this stage already, yeah.
Yes.
It's outstanding. Weirdly, his XG is quite poor. So for him playing up front, he's 0.78 in the last 4 games. Now, obviously, the Newcastle game might have kind of diminished that somewhat. But yeah, his XG isn't that good. He's had seven shots in the box, which is 4th for all midfielders. He's got 17 try that again. He's got 17 penalty area touches. Did it? Thank you, everyone. Which is like 7th out of all midfielders. So he's in and around the box. He's scoring goals. And the fact that he's not got that high of an XG doesn't really matter. It just shows that he's being able to score like in less high quality chances. So he's able to convert things that you might not have, like you might not. So you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do agree, and he's probably the one that I'm looking at bringing in this week for Raheem Sterling. Get some more money in the bank, because yeah, those fixtures for Leeds are spot on, and they're not a bad team. They're not a bad team. They're well organised. I think. What's the manager's name, man?
Leeds
fella, yeah, Jesse Marsh. I think he got a fair bit of stick. I think he was like, I think his accent has everybody thinking of Bob Bradley and the typical like soccer. You think it's called soccer?
Brad Bobley.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he got some unfair stick. I do think he was on borrowed time at like there was a certain point when I thought, right, he's done, but he's managed to pull it back. He's been given time, and rightly so. Like he's got them very well organised. I was so frustrated watching them at St. James's Park. Like they just stopped us playing, and they frustrated us, and they played the game that we've been playing all season with the better teams. Like kept themselves in the game for 60 minutes and then just play the dark arts and frustrated the hell out of us. But no, Rodrigo's a fantastic option. I've got 2, but so Matoma I think is a slightly more obvious one. Brighton have been free scoring. Like they've been, I don't know the exact stats, but Brighton have been just scoring goals for fun since the restart. He's only 4.9 million. He's started every one of those games. He's only 4.9 million. He's had 21 penalty area touches, which is 6 for all midfielders. Sorry, 6 overall out of all players in the game. He's joined 4th for midfielders. His XG has been 1.25 for those last 4 games. He's just unbelievable. 3 goals and 1 assist in his last 5. And I think the fact that Trossard isn't starting, I think De Zerbi's come out and said that he's on the bench because he's essentially not willing to put the graft in. Like he knows he can do better.
Trossard?
So, yeah, there's been quotes out today. So if you have Trossard, you need to be getting rid, because I think
I do have Trossard.
De Zerbi's not impressed with him. So I think Matoma's now a nailed kind of player on that left wing. He's been performing so well. So yeah, I bet you're glad I talked about him then.
Yes, I'm very happy. I hadn't heard those reports. I thought Trossard was just injured.
Yeah, and there's something going like, do you know all those like standard like football Twitter accounts that steal everyone else's content?
Yes.
Like one of those. There's something doing the rounds about Matoma where he declined to join a professional club when he was younger to go to university to study. And he studied like one of his research project that he did was all about dribbling and how to like optimize getting past opponents and you can kind of see that in his play, like the way he travels with the ball.
I
He's very,
very
very lively and technical. And if you're going to watch a Brighton game, I feel like Matoma is probably the one that you're going to want in your team to be most interested in then, like when they're playing. Just like back in the good old days, if you wanted a Newcastle player, you'd get St. Maximin because he'd be the one that would excite you most, even though you'd likely come away with bottle. So my final one that I wanted to say, have you got any more before I go in? Have you got one more?
No, I was going to just say, I think the Matoma one's a great shout. I think it's a fantastic shout. Because I was thinking of the player that I was going to get in before Trossard. I had him saved in, sent off to one of the groups that I'm in, and I went, oh, you know what? I've got the money. Sod it. I'm going to go to Trossard. It was Gross. And obviously Gross scored in the last game. So whereas Trossard got nothing. So I was fuming with myself. But I think Matoma's better. Not a better player, but a better choice.
Yeah, so, and I think it's worth it, like having an honourable mention for Alexis McAllister as well. Yes. I think he's trying to play himself into a move. I think he's seen that he's won a World Cup, almost like Aston Villa's keeper, Emi Martinez. I think all those players who've won the World Cup, who've performed well, have probably got their agent in their ear saying, yeah, if you play well now for the rest of the season, you're getting the big bucks in the summer. So I think Alexis McAllister is another one to watch. I think Brighton will potentially finish top 7 if they carry on the way they're going.
Yeah.
Hopefully Chelsea, Liverpool and Spurs drop out, which would be fun.
That's crossed.
So my last one, just because it's a fun pick. Like this is, if you are sitting pretty somewhere in your league, you don't have any fears. You've got all the other players that you want. You've got no fires, but you want an interesting, stupid punt to keep the game interesting. Morgan Gibbs White. So, yeah, they are finger guns. He's 5.5 million, right? So Nottingham Forest have been really poor this season, but the last 4 games they've been unbeaten and they've scored 4 goals in that time. They've only scored. Where is it? They've only scored. They've scored like 13 or something goals. Yeah, they've only scored 13 goals this season. Like 13 goals in the season so far is shocking. However, he's got 2 goals and 2 assists. I saw him play against Chelsea when they came back from 1-0 down. He hit the bar and he was just so involved in everything that they were doing. And I think Forest, Steve Cooper is starting to get the best out of that team. They were disjointed at the start of the season.
Didn't get beat 4-1 off Blackpool this weekend?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, but I think they rotated quite a bit. Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
Probably did.
But yeah, like the last time they got beat was against Arsenal, like weeks ago. Obviously, it was weeks ago, but I mean, like FPL game weeks ago. I think Steve Cooper's got the core team that he likes playing well. They're starting to like connect, and the pieces are starting to come together. And I think Gibbs White could be central to that, but we'll see. It could be awful. We'll come back to this in a few weeks' time, because why not? So last thing we really want to talk about before we talk about our teams is there's been some double game weeks confirmed. Luckily, we recorded this on the evening instead of this morning because the double game weeks got announced like a few hours ago. Man United have now got a double game week, which we all kind of suspected, but it's good to have it announced early enough. Man City at home and Crystal Palace away. Crystal Palace have been absolute pony. Crystal Palace have got Chelsea away and Man United at home. And then we already knew Man City had Man United away, Tottenham at home, and Tottenham have Arsenal at home and Man City away. So, Daniel, do you already have 3 Man United assets? And if not, are you bringing in another one or not?
No.
Who are the 2 that you've got?
Rashford and Martial.
Oh, so you don't want a Man United defender?
Not
Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw not tempting you?
Maybe. Like, if I was going to get one, it would 100% be him.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I still got Man City in that first game.
But
chipped 6 against them last time.
I feel like Man United are probably in the best possible position to beat Man City than they've been in the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah,
like,
let's have a look
without
at
a doubt.
Fixtures overall, Mass. Let's have a little look. See what.
Why don't we? Why don't we? So we're actually prepared this week.
Have you seen who they got in 21?
I say I'm prepared. I haven't. They're the only team that I don't have written down. Do you want to enlighten me? They've got Arsenal.
So they've got second, then garbage, then first, and then Palace again, then Leeds, Leicester, Brentford. So the fixtures are absolutely mint. That's why I've got Martial. I just think the fixtures are absolutely mint. But Martial's a player that I can bench. I'm not bothered about him.
Wout Weghorst is on the horizon as well to challenge him for his. That's one of the weirdest transfers, probably since Igalo.
I was literally about to say that.
Yeah. So
and how many minutes did he get?
Barely any, mate. Barely any. He's probably still a little bit more than those Man City players. I think I was toying with the idea of getting rid of Martial because he's been frustrating me, but
double game week.
Yeah, but now he's got the double game week. I've kind of got to hold him because he was potentially going to be a make weight for Harry Kane.
Yep.
So, but now I feel like I've got to hold him. So I'm sat on Luke Shaw, Rashford, and Martial. So I feel like I'm in a nice position, but yeah, I'm kind of limited now because I've only got 2 playing strikers, so I don't have any other wiggle room to get anybody else. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like I've got to just live with that
run
now,
afterwards. Did I say the run? Crystal Palace, Leeds, Leicester, Brentford.
Yeah,
that's too good because my plan was to sort of maybe ship them off for these couple of games, bring them back in. So I couldn't envisage them getting price rise or falls or whatever, and then bring in someone else for these 2 weeks. But with the double, with Palace being one of them doubles, I just feel like I've got to have them. And Man United are going to try and hit Man City on the break. And I don't think Man City are playing the best they've ever played. They're certainly not playing the way that they were when neither team are playing the way that they were for that first fixture. Man United aren't playing as bad, and Man City aren't playing as well. So I think it'll be a lot closer. I'm not sure about a clean sheet, but yeah, if you get Luke Shaw, the clean sheet's for Palace, really. And then obviously Man United beat Arsenal in the first time they met the season, but it was at Old Trafford. The next game's going to be at the Emirates. That's obviously totally different. So yeah, I don't hate the idea of bringing in Luke Shaw this week. It's just whether I want to. To be fair, I probably do want to because I've got Cucurella against Palace. Right. So it probably makes sense, actually. Who have Chelsea got coming up after that? I'm sure they've got awful fixtures. Liverpool, then Fulham, then West Ham, Southampton, Tottenham. Yeah, that's Fulham, West Ham, Southampton. I've got Kepa anyway.
Yep.
I think Cucurella to Luke Shaw might be my second transfer.
Interesting.
I've already, my first transfer is going to be Trossard. I've already made it. It's Trossard to Rodrigo.
Right. Fair enough. I'm sitting here with 3 Chelsea assets, and it's making me a little bit uneasy. I've totally fallen the trap. I know I've got to get rid of Sterling. I know I've got to get rid of him, but and that still leaves me with a Mount. Like there's a huge temptation, and obviously I've got Kepa, but I'm not going to do a goalkeeper transfer.
Mount against Palace is fine though.
Yes. And obviously if I was going to bring in Matoma, he plays Liverpool. Although Matoma could have Trent Alexander-Arnold on toast, is what I'm thinking. It's one of those where I could quite happily stay where I am, have Mount against Crystal Palace, bring in Rodrigo for Sterling, but then the week after do Mount to Matoma, because of Brighton have got Leicester away,
then Bournemouth, then Palace, then Fulham. I think I'm gonna make Matoma my game week 21 transfer in. I think. But that's the thing. That's why I'm not too sure about Luke Shaw, because I'd like to bring in Matoma for Zaha, and then upgrade hopefully Adams to Kane.
So are you keeping Zaha for the double then?
I'm gonna keep Zaha for the double, purely because if he plays both and doesn't get booked or sent off, he gets 4 points.
Outstanding. Feasting.
He's on pens, and it's just typical Palace, isn't it?
Yeah,
Do garbage against the easy teams, and they'll pop one in against Chelsea or Man United.
Pop one in. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think Patrick Vieira will see out the year. That's my hot take. I think Palace will continue to struggle. They'll get scarily close to the relegation zone. I think they'll crap their pants.
Yep.
Which I think will probably be the worst thing they could ever do. I think Vieira's done amazing.
I think he's doing a fantastic job.
I think the players are starting to struggle. I think they need to get some reinforcements.
I can't believe he's got them where they are anyway. They're a terrible team.
Yeah, I think they need to make some reinforcements quick, or else they're going to fall down the league. Yep. So, do you want to chat about? Obviously, we've still got Chelsea versus Fulham to come on Thursday.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the Gallowgateshots League and how we're doing, we've still got to remember we've got one game to go. How are you doing this week? Do you want to get it off your chest? I mean, just say no, yes or no would be fine.
I don't want to get anything off the chest, man. I've got 2 people returning this week: Trippier and Rashford. Everyone else blanked. Our captain Salah. I've still got our Aritza Balaga and Kukurea to play. 34 points, 8 million game week rank, down to 1.4 million in the world. Shoot me in the face. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy bollocks.
That is awful. Like, actually awful.
Oh, truly horrific. I mean, it's just so many 2s. The
I'm not going to lie.
8 and 2s is by Trossard not playing and Salah getting 4 because his captaincy was a 2 doubled.
I'm not going to lie, mate. I'm not that better off than you. The only real thing that's better for me is that I've got Luke Shaw's 15 points.
Just the 15, mate.
So
15 points.
I'll just explain what's going on with me. So I've got 48. I've got 48 points so far. I've still got Kepa and Mount to play.
48's above average.
Whoop whoop! I didn't say I was doing bad. I didn't. Did I say that I was doing bad? I just thought
Said you said you're not doing much better.
So I've got 48 points. Kepa and Mount still to play. I would have had Raheem Sterling still to play as well, which would have been really exciting against Fulham.
Yep.
But he decided that he was going to explode his arse cheek after a minute against Man City, which was incredibly frustrating to watch because now I've got...
Lord, his arse cheek. Is that what you just said?
Yeah. It might have been his glute. I don't know. Like some muscle near or close to his arse failed. So yeah, he's now done in. Sadly, I've got 1 point in a double game week from him, which feels actually awful. The only saving grace is that I was actually looking at captain and Sterling or Mount this week, like this week, but I decided to go with Haaland. Turns out that wasn't much better.
Yeah.
But that's like the one thing that kind of half cheers me up is that I avoided those 2. But yeah, it's one of those where I've got Mount sitting there, and if he hadn't played in the cup today, I would have been quite excited because I've got Botman and Gabriel on 6 points sat on my bench. Like, it's another week where out of me 5 defenders, I've got returns from 4 of them, and I've only got 2 returns, like actually playing, which is horrendous. Like, defenders are doing well since the restart, you know. Like, it's making me question whether or not to play me defenders over the midfielders. But there's so much value in the midfielders. It seems stupid stupid benching them. But anyway, so I got Kepa's 2 points because he decided that he wasn't going to try and grab the ball that went past his fucking knees.
Oh, it was shocking. What was he doing?
He just decided to kneel down and watch it roll past him.
I know.
What was he doing? Anyway, Dunk got 2. Trippier has 8, but everyone has him. When do we start?
Loads of people benched him.
When do we start just captaining Trippier? Because he's just 8 points every week.
I know, it's ridiculous.
When do we just start perma captain and Trippier and just forgetting about it? Anyway, Luke Shaw got 15 points. Woohoo! Kevin De Bruyne got 3. Rashford got me 8, which at my rank is amazing because I'm just surrounded by dead teams. Sterling got me 1, which wasn't good. Mount is going to come and play and get me at least 2 or 3 points, I think. Haaland got me a captain's 4, and Martial got me 2, which made me think about getting rid of him. But I'll probably keep a hold of him for now.
I've just had a trip here.
Yes.
He's the third highest scoring points on the entire game. He's only 3 points behind Harry Kane, and he's only 20 points behind Haaland.
He's amazing. Amazing. Best defender. He's, I'm sure I saw he's on track to get the highest ever points total for a defender in Fantasy Premier League.
Because of all his bonus?
All his bonus, all his assists, all his, I mean, what he loses in height, he makes up for in bonus points.
Has he even had that many assists?
I think he's got a canny few, you know.
5. He's got a goal and 5 assists, which is good. But like when you consider if he broke the record, Trent got 14 in a season, plus a few, I think, got 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah.
That's short. That he's getting all that bonus.
Yeah.
Machine.
Absolute machine. So we've talked about teams. We can quickly play What's the Point? So we'll cue the jingle. Ready? Pow. Woo!
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Woo!
There we go. So it's still 2-2. Today's hopefully not going to be the day that changes, because it's my turn to get you to guess who has the most points out of the 3 players. You've got to order them from most to least. I've given it a bit of an Arsenal theme. I've made it quite easy, to tell you the truth, I think.
I bet it's not. I bet it's absolutely not easy.
Just heap that pressure on you. So, in alphabetical order, Martinelli, Odegaard, Saka.
Martinelli, Odegaard, and Saka. I'm going to go Odegaard. Odegaard's got the most amount of points. Then Martinelli, then Saka.
Congratulations.
Yes.
You've took a 3-2 lead. Now you've got to remember that and return the favour for me next week. And just make it easy as humanly possible to save face.
Do you know how I knew that?
How?
Because all just above Rodrigo when I was looking before. So when I said Rodrigo's 8th, and I was like, what was that order? I knew Odegaard was top anyway.
At least you're honest.
To my pain and suffering since selling them. But it was the other 2 that I was like, I had to think of that list. I was like, where was it?
At least you're honest. I would have just flat out lied and say that I just knew it because I'm smart.
I'm just mint. That's why I'm 1.4 million on this game. So bad.
So just to say, I'm still 3.4 million. I'm sitting on a little green arrow, which hopefully will be a slightly bigger green arrow at the end of the week. Hopefully getting into that 3 million bracket at some point. But we shall see next time. Quick little update of the Gallowgateshots League. We have the same leader as last time. Ian Malcolm still sitting top. But Liam Woodfine, which if you've been watching from the beginning, will know that we tried to find him but couldn't. Not sure whether he exists. Might be a bot. He's narrowed the gap to 4 points at the top. So it'll be interesting to see where that lands next week. Yes. Tune in next time. So I think that's us completely done, mate.
Yes.
Hopefully you don't continue your free fall, because that was the only thing that was giving us any credibility. But
barely. I mean,
barely.
So barely. Compared to last season, Matt, like...
If we'd done this last season, we would have looked like absolute kings. I was top of the Gallowgateshots League at this point last year. I was about 1,000th in the world or something stupid.
Yeah, I think I was 7K or something just after Christmas last year.
It's upsetting. It's very upsetting. But everyone has bad seasons.
How we got the gig, Matt. It's how we got the gig.
Yeah. Everyone just tries really hard until they get what they want, and then just...
I think from the get-go, the prices have just helped so many people. And I think most content creators that I've seen had a really tough start of the season, but they've remained very, very engaged, whereas I've just tried not to bother me too much and I've just been chilling, trying to enjoy the football more than anything else, instead of Like if I had one of these game weeks last season, I'd went into total meltdown.
Yeah. I've got quite a lot of the only thing that's keeping me kind of competitive in it is that I've got a few like friends mini leagues. I do
Yeah.
have friends. And I'm constantly getting like WhatsApp messages like saying, you do YouTube on this and you're like bottom of the league. And I'm like, well, it's a long season. But there's only so long that you can say it's a long season before it just becomes like a bit of an embarrassment. So
Matt, Chelsea
hello.
once won the league, finished 10th, and won the league again, I think. I'm sure
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
It's upsetting that we're looking at Chelsea for inspiration, but hey ho, is what it is. On that awful note, it's time to say goodbye. Tune in next week. Don't forget the game week 20 deadline is Friday at 6:30, I believe. And hope that it goes absolutely spectacularly, or at least better than what Dan's has this week. Bye.